Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome courtside here, ExtraMile Arena. It's basketball time in Boise. You can see the Boise State Broncos warming up on the court, going through some stretching, some warm-ups. We're about 48 minutes away from tip-off. The Boise State men's basketball team and Cal-State Northridge battling here inside ExtraMile Arena. We got the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Appreciate you for checking us out. We bring you courtside here. We got Abe Jackson for his pregame report, as always, the color analyst, the number 6 all-time leading scorer in Boise State history, number 2 in made threes in the single season and in the career. You had it till some guy named Justinian Jessup passed you up.
I did, and I was number 3 when my career ended, but then Coach Rice had to go and bring in all these great players when he got here.
Now, I will still say that you know, you can play with stats and numbers any way you want.
Right.
You have the Division I. You have the record against a Division I opponent. This dude made 9 three-pointers against Gonzaga back in the day, 2000. What was it, Corbin or Carroll College?
It was Corbin.
It was Jeff Aloriaga hit 10, but it was against like an NAI.
You want to know a quick funny story?
Yes.
So Coach Rice was the assistant when I hit 9 threes against them.
All right.
And he brings that up every once in a while before Jeff broke my record. Jeff had 8 three-pointers going into halftime, or maybe 7. And so they come out at halftime. Coach Rice stops right over by me, and he looks at me and he goes, tells me to take the headset off. So I take the headset off, and he goes like this. He goes, "It's going down." So he knew. He didn't want me to have a record against him. He wanted one of his guys to have that record. Aloriaga hit his 10th. He took him out of the game, and then I went to second place.
Well, I think people, some of my generation, or maybe some of we're pretty close in age. I think there's some people watching this that know you as Abe Jackson, the color analyst.
Sure.
They need to be reminded, Abe Jackson, the sharpshooter out there, number 6 all-time leading scorer.
Don't let the body fool you. I used to be an athlete.
And apparently, you never saw a shot you didn't like, because
no,
you were also up there in attempts as well.
If the lights are on, might as well shoot it.
Well, Abe, we appreciate it as always. You got paid today, so I knew you'd show up for your appearance today. We're happy to have you, man, for your regular pregame appearance here. Boise State and CSUN, the Broncos have won 3 games in a row, as I said, and they're rolling a little bit, looking to make it 4 in a row tonight. Yeah,
they played really well against Utah Valley, and you never really know what you're going to get after a little bit of a layoff with those 5 days without a game. But the Broncos came out. They looked fresh. They looked energetic. There were some high-energy plays, and they just – they dominated. It was a little bit close with about 6 or 7 minutes left, and the Broncos went on a run and put them away.
Now, Marcus Shaver Jr., Chase Love here says he thinks tonight's the night he gets his triple-double. You look at what Marcus Shaver Jr. is doing this year. He's the only player in the country averaging 14.3 points, 9 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 2.5 steals per game. We've talked about him, I think, every pregame show. But he's been really, really impressive, and he's putting up stats that literally nobody else in the country is doing right now.
When you make that transition from a 2 guard, which he was last year, to a point guard, it's not just that you're going to be the guy handling the ball. There is so much more asked of you as a point guard, from getting your teammates in position on offense and on defense, to starting the offense, starting the defense. So the coaching staff is asking a lot more of Marcus Shaver this year, and he is answering every single ask that they have, because it is just points, rebounds, assists, leading the team, and he's also guarding one of the other team's probably best scorers every night.
I thought Najee Smith was a big plus for them the other night as well.
He's just an energy guy. It is the most unorthodox looking move sometimes, and you're hoping that a travel doesn't get called or something doesn't get called, because a lot of times it's not. It just doesn't look like a traditional basketball move, but he does such a good job of being tricky around the hoop, and I'm looking for another Naj Quake. Going in for those dunks. He had one against Utah Valley and one, and of course the alley-oop against Washington State.
5 players, I think, in double figures, all 5 scorers. It's been like that. We're getting this balanced scoring. You're still having the 20 points, the 19 points from some of the big dogs, but it does seem like balanced scoring is something that could be an asset for this team.
Of course, and that was a question coming into this year because you lost so many scorers from last year. Where is it going to be? Does Degenhart and Shaver have to give you 18 or 20 a night, or where's that other one's going to come from? And the 11 points from Max Rice is the bright spot for me offensively. He averaged 4 points last year, and so he adjusted his game. He's not just a three-point shooter. We've seen him finish in the paint. He has a floater inside, and he's knocking down free throws. They needed another scorer other than Degenhart and Shaver, and Max Rice has really come to the rescue.
What do you make of this game tonight? I mean, you get the big game against Texas A&M on Saturday. This is one where you're like a 19-point favorite. Ken Palm has you winning by about 20. You know, you just had the win the other day. What do you make of this one? Obviously, it's a game you should win rather easily, but can't look ahead, and move past these guys.
No, and the coaching staff always does such a great job of keeping the guys focused on what's ahead of them and what is happening right now. And so there's no way that the Bronco team looks past this CSUN team. You can look at their record. They're 1-4. They have 11 new faces this year from last year, so they're still trying to find their way. The Broncos, of course, heavily favored. I think the ESPN app had them at 91.7% favorites. So every number says the Broncos are going to win the game. But we saw last year, Cal-State Bakersfield came in. You look at the end of their season compared to the end of our season, and you could not have even guessed that Bakersfield could have come in here last year and beat the Broncos.
Boise State went down there to CSUN last year as part of that 2-for-1 deal. We were there at the Matadome. That was actually the first road trip that I made with Bronco Nation News. It was a very interesting setup there, but Boise State won the game rather handedly. How do you look at the matchup? Is there anybody on CSUN that concerns you here?
There's nobody. There's nobody on CSUN.
Deontay Bostic, 15.6 a game. You got Atten Wright, 14 a game.
Yeah, not really, though. I mean, you just take a look at the entire stats overall. I think the Broncos are going to win the rebounding margin by double digits. I think they're going to win the turnover margin by about 5 or 6. The size and athleticism for Boise State, I think, is going to take over this game. You have some guys who can score some points. You look at the teams that they played. Boise State, probably the best team that they've seen all year. So I don't think that anything really worries me from CSUN.
And as a flip it over the way, this is by far the worst team that Boise State's played. Mm-hmm. Is this a game maybe where you really hope to get Sada and Mosilla and some of these guys on the bench some minutes?
That would be ideal, right? I mean, it would be ideal to go into maybe the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game to have a solid lead and know that you can put some guys that haven't seen a lot of time in, because you see it in practice. The coaches see it in practice, and they want to get them in, but it's just kind of situational. And a lot of times what Coach Rice does is if a certain group is rolling, he doesn't mess with that. And so then some guys might not get in as much as some other games. So that would be great if this game could turn into one of those where some of the other guys on the bench can get some minutes.
Final thing, and again, we'll hear you here in about 11 minutes with Bob Beeler over there on 670 KBOI. You got a player to watch for us tonight, or a key or something that you'll be looking for on the broadcast?
Oh, I want to see Nganga. That's who I want to see. He started to get more minutes, and you can see it just with the eyeball test, right? People use that phrase all the time. You can see it with him. 6'9", 6'10". He handles the ball. He has no problem pulling up for jumpers or threes. I think this could be a game where he sees a lot of minutes and could get into maybe those double figures in scoring.
Hey, appreciate it as always. We'll be listening to you and Bob on the call. Best of luck with the call. We appreciate your time today. There he is, Abe Jackson. Appreciate him for jumping on, as always. The color analyst. You can hear him and Bob Beeler, 670 KBOI. It'll be Bob and company over there on the pregame show, the official pregame show. That'll be on 670 KBOI, and again, that'll be coming up in about 10 minutes. But we got plenty going on here courtside. Appreciate you for joining us. John Mallory is going to join us in a couple of minutes as well. You got some fans walking by and waving. Always crowd starting to file in here. We're about 40 minutes from tip-off. If you have a score prediction, let us have it. If you're watching the game from somewhere, let us know where you're watching the game from, your thoughts on the game. And we'll get those on the screen here. Chase has 106-64. Wow, that would be quite the quite the victory, 106-64. That'd be a 42-point victory. I think Boise State would take that one all day. I'm going to flip the camera here if we can do this, and you can see some of these guys warming up, and I apologize that I'm on here. But there's Nganga going through some shots here. You see Burke Smith as well, but Sada Nganga was the pick to click for Abe Jackson. And here he is getting some pregame shots up. There's the step back three. Boise State, obviously Boise State is wanting to get Nganga going tonight. That would be big if they could get him going, obviously. And certainly Boise State's going to try to get a lot of guys going. This is a game where you're going to be favored, as we said, by a lot of points. And you got a chance, obviously, to try to get your fourth win in a row and get everybody rolling here. But John Mallory going to join us in a little bit. I want to thank some of our sponsors. Jake Forsythe says, let's get our 36 in the first half. So the over-under in the first half looks like Jake Forsythe's on the over 36 in the first half. And then he says, let the other guys. He's watching from Farmington, New Mexico. Wow, we appreciate you, Jake, for tuning in from down there. John Mallory going to join us in just a second. We are broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios, the mobile studios here at ExtraMile Arena. Check out one of their 30 flavors of pre-mixed, pre-made premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. RowPaint.com, the title sponsor, official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Check them out, ROEPaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out their inventory online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Then you can head on into their location, test drive a vehicle, and be on your way. We appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com as well, the official bank of Bronco Nation News. Go check out Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com for all of your banking needs. And Ridley's Family Markets as well, shopridleys.com. They got 13 Idaho locations. Find a location near you at shopridleys.com. We're back here courtside. We got John Mallory, KTIK, the tickets. Scoot over a little bit, Johnny. Look, you're crowding me here. No, the other way. There he is.
You want a little more space?
Yes,
I got you.
yes,
Nice
yes.
new polo.
Thank you, man. You like that?
Love it.
Johnny, what do you make, man? 3 in a row. They're going for 4. This team's on a little bit of a roll, man. What do you make of the team 6 games into the season?
Leon has a tendency to get teams on a roll, right? And they just play brilliant ball throughout a key stretch in the season. Will this be another roll? I think the next 2 games, BJ, will determine that. Take care of Beeswax tonight. Your 20-point favorites. The little scouting I did do on CSUN, there wasn't much to be excited about. Now that I said that, BJ, they'll probably shoot 50% from downtown and they'll look great tonight. They look good off the bus, so they look long and athletic, but Boise State should handle its business tonight. They're big favorites, decent crowd. They're doing this thing for Bus Connor, the former coach. They'll have a cool halftime show, and then you get ready for A&M, neutral site, on Saturday.
I was going to ask you, Trent Johnson back as well, former Boise State player. He was the team captain from 76 to 78. 107 career starts at Boise State for Trent Johnson, number 8 all-time. He's number 16 all-time in scoring. He's a 1,000-point scorer here at Boise State. Long coaching career, Johnny. Kind of a cool side story, Trent Johnson. He's the head coach for CSUN back in ExtraMile Arena here.
It is cool. And you know what? It's as long as it's not against, I guess, Boise State, it's better for me if they win this game than lose it on my radio show and hanging out with you. I wish he'd win more, just not here. But Trent Johnson's struggling. They're 1-4. Last year they were 6-27 or something. They had a real rough year.
Yep.
I hope he gets it going. That's one of those sneaky places. CSUN is in a beautiful area of the valley in Los Angeles. It's fun to hang out in that neighborhood, Northridge. If you can just get a couple, 2, 3 kids every year that you hit on that maybe were, underdeveloped a little bit coming out of high school, you can do well in the Big West, which is just a California basketball league. And they're not doing that yet. They need to get that going, BJ.
The Matadome.
The Matadors and the Matadome. They got the Matadome, and then UCSB also in that league has the Thunderdome.
Oh,
That's a fun league, the Big West. But tonight, you're going to see the difference, I think, between the Mountain West in the Big West. And right now, Leon has this thing rolling. This is an upper echelon Mountain West basketball program. I think they proved that in Myrtle Beach. You saw it in person. And tonight's just, I'm trying to think of a term to use. Just, I don't know, just paving the road. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just, a nuts and bolts type of game, I guess I should say.
Business.
A game you should win, go out, business.
Business-like approach, just kind of come in here, take care of business, win by 20, and move on to the next game.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean,
just kind of,
any concern, they're going to look past them tonight with Texas A&M on Saturday.
Yeah, because they don't always start well.
Well, this is also by far, I was talking to Abe about this before you got here, by far the worst team they've played. I mean, they've played some pretty good competition the first 5 games. CSUN's like in the 300s at Ken Palm. I mean, this is by far the worst team they've played. Any thought they're just going to roll the ball out there and beat them by 25?
I would like to flip that question to you. Instead of you asking, let me ask you that. You know more about this team than I do. Could you see them stumbling out of the gate? We're sitting here at the 12-minute media timeout, and it's 11-9.
Yeah.
CSUN. I mean, could you see that?
I probably could.
It feels like you get that sometimes here.
Based on the stats and based on what we've seen, I don't know. I don't think they have the talent over 40 minutes to beat them. I mean, it may be close for 10 minutes, but I think at some point you would expect Boise State to probably pull away. I mean, I didn't think they had a lot of – I mean, you mentioned I don't know. I mean, I jokingly asked Abe, is there anybody on their squad you're worried about? And he said no. But they've lost to Utah Tech, Cal Baptist, Tennessee State.
They lost to Baptist.
Cal Baptist.
Yeah, I mean, that CSUN should not be losing to Baptist.
It was a road. They had to go to Cal Baptist.
Oh, yeah, tough place to play. Tough place to play. They get on you there. But no, all kidding aside, yeah, this doesn't look like a very good CSUN team. I had another person I know who is pretty close to this program. I won't mention names, but I asked him, hey, what do you think of the CSUN? He said, they're bad. And I was like, okay, that must be bad if that guy's telling me that. So, anywho, that's what I've heard. These guys are struggling right now. What do you do in those type of fights? You want to Mike Tyson them, right?
Yep.
Knock them out early and make these guys realize by the first or second media timeout that, shucks, we can't play with these guys. Make them know.
What, Najee Smith the other night, I know he's one of your guys, right? 19 points, I believe. He was doing the shimmy shake, the fadeaways, the up and unders. I mean, this guy continues to prove that he's a legit Mountain West player, and it looks like that, once he went into the starting lineup, they've won 3 in a row. It looks like they're going to keep going small. I mean, in this Mountain West with some of these big guys, I mean, can Najee Smith
be a 4?
Be this effective? I mean, do you like it when they play small?
Yeah,
what
I
do you
kind
make
of do.
Of that lineup?
I just trust Leon and this staff to put the best 5 players who can gel on the floor at the same time and not pigeonhole itself into some type of position. Yeah, some bigger clubs in this league will be tougher to defend, but Boise State will also be tough to defend. For a bigger player to have to go with Najee, who can score from what he's proven this year anywhere on the floor. I remember my partner once said, Mike Prater, every time Najee Smith shoots a 3, I feel like I have to run into a church and say a prayer. You're not saying that anymore about Najee Smith and the elevation of his game. And I want to ask you something with all your sources. How much money has Najee Smith made for himself in a potential professional career moving forward? This time last year, me and you, I think we would have said Najee playing overseas, maybe very, very, very lower level. Now I look at Najee, he's a 3-and-D guy. I like that term. I think he could play overseas. I think Najee Smith's going to play pro ball for a few years. I wouldn't have said that last year.
He probably will. I still think his shot is the weirdest looking shot I've seen.
Sean Marion, remember the Matrix?
Oh, that's right. I was sitting next to, was it King McClure or whoever the color analyst was at Myrtle Beach one of the games, and he takes his first 3, and they're like, oh, like what was that? Like if you haven't seen him shoot, and you see him almost shoot it sideways and almost with his thumb the way he shoots it, it's eye-opening. But, I mean, he's shooting pretty well, and now he's got the fadeaway and the up and under and some of that stuff.
Plays hard.
I'm not a European scout, but I would think there'd be a league he could play in.
Yeah, it seems like you keep in touch decently over there in Europe, though. You have your people in Europe. You do. James Webb over there playing. You want to know your stuff. Leonard Barry's on the call tonight. I like that guy.
And by the way, we're showing us and not you, not anything else, because nothing's going on. There's the court. Once Boise State comes out in a minute, we'll flip it over. We do appreciate John Mallory, as always, coming straight over from the KTIK studios. You heard him 3 to 6 today with Mike Prater.
Yep.
You were on 3 to 6 today. You guys had the big Talon Green exclusive today.
Don't you love name, image, and likeness, BJ?
That was pretty cool, man. Good for you guys and good for Talon
I saw
Green.
some of the frustration from other media
members.
members.
Not with you guys and not with Talon Green. I think it's great. I think it was awesome. You guys should. I think it's great. Good for Talon Green. I think that's awesome. Good for you guys. And it was
all Prater. I will tip the captain. He's been working on that for a long time.
And if you missed that, you can go back to KTIK.com. They have the exclusive today with Talon Green. So, the frustration was not with you guys, and it's not with Talon Green. If you can make $500 doing a 15-minute interview, good for you. That's great. That's awesome. But he will have to talk Saturday. He is required, as is Ashton Genty, Eric McAllister, every single player. It is a Mountain West rule. If you play in the game, you have to be available for interviews post-game.
Wow, so BJ, you are loving this.
I think the timing of you guys getting Talon Green this week probably had something to do with the fact that he's going to have to talk Saturday.
Warming him up type of thing.
I got Talon Green, Ashton Genty, Eric McAllister, Andrew Simpson.
I want to talk to Simpson too.
And there's a whole list of redshirt freshmen, true freshmen. If they play in the game, even one play on special teams, you can request them post game, and they have to talk. So,
Marcus Shaver rebounds tonight. I'm setting the line at 5.5. Are you going over or under?
By the way, Boise State has taken the floor to a raucous crowd here at ExtraMile Arena. What's the number?
5.5 total rebounds.
He's averaging
9 for
9.
Marcus Shaver.
He's averaging
Jr.
9. I'll take over.
You're taking the over, yeah. So he's going to continue this. Rebounding. He's the masterful mission he is on right now.
Dude, he's the leading rebounder in the entire Mountain West Conference.
He might be the leading rebounder if he was in the Big Ten, too. I'd have to look at other leagues, right?
9 rebounds a game.
9 a game?
Yep.
For the shortest guy on
take a look at the stat. I mentioned it earlier with A, but take a look at the stat that Nate Lowry found out. He's the only player in the nation right now averaging 14.3 points, 9 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 2.5 steals. He's putting up some historic numbers here, man.
Oh, my gosh. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but sometimes he gets lost in the shuffle that is Tyson Dagenhart, the aforementioned Najee Smith, right, BJ? Sometimes you're like, well, Shaver can play as well. Awesome. Yeah, and he's an all-conference caliber guy, obviously. Abo, as well as the other one that kind of gets lost. Max gets a lot of pub. So, you forget sometimes how good Shaver is, and he truly is one of the best backcourt players in this league and has been for multiple years.
You got Mike Burns out here. He wants some credit for his defense as well. The defense has been pretty good again this year, hasn't it?
I love Burnsy, and he is a scrapper. He coaches like he looks, like a dude that I'd want on my side if I had gotten into some trouble at a tavern I'd never been in before, BJ. I want Burnsy boy on my side, and you're right. This defense, very, very stingy so far, forcing double-digit turnovers in each of the Broncos' first 6 games.
They've also held every opponent they've played under 70 points.
So I'm setting the turnover line tonight at 11.5. Are you over or under?
Without even knowing what CSUN does a game on turnovers.
You know what?
You don't care.
I don't know what CSUN does in a game. Do they bring soda for the media in the media room?
They do not. No.
What?
No.
For CSUN we don't get soda?
No. Are you calling out Nate Lowry here on? Let's see here. Turnovers a game. They got 54 through 5 games. So, they're at about 10 a game. And you're going 11.5.
Yeah, and Leon and Burns, like you mentioned, give Burns some credit here. They just do a good job at turning the other team over. And when they lead to that and they get the transition game going, a tough team to beat. CSUN will have its hands full. What's going on with Sada and Gunga?
I've been really impressed. He had 5 rebounds in the last game. Excuse me. Had a nice putback. Here's the podcast star, by the way. Love the podcast. That was big time. I don't know if you listen to the BSU podcast.
Who is that guy?
Alex Bell. He
okay.
works with Dom Sheldon in the creative services department. A great podcast.
Looks like he hangs out in the weight room a lot, too.
Him and Leon on the road are in there lifting some heavy weight, let me tell you. But what were we talking about?
We were talking about Sada and Gunga.
Yeah. 5 rebounds in the last game. And he had one of them, 2 offensive. One of them was a putback. He's not, really scoring a lot yet, but I like what he's doing, man. He's starting to get some more minutes, and he's starting to, get comfortable out there.
Yeah.
Leon's starting to go to him earlier in the game. Tonight might be his night, man. He might play 20 minutes tonight.
Right.
This might be the night we, this might be the night we really get a taste of what Sada Nganga can do.
Does it surprise you at all? I'm looking at the box score for the season with this Boise State team, and Kobe Young, he's played 5 games and he's averaging 4 minutes a game.
19 on the season.
Total year. We really like Kobe Young. You'll see him in warmups.
He's one of your favorite players.
He'll dunk better than anybody. He's very athletic, and I don't know. Maybe I thought he'd get a few more minutes this year, but with Pavle Kuzmanovic, healthy again, it's been tough. But I kind of thought I wanted to see a little more of Kobe Young, but I trust this coaching staff. If the better guys are out there, then the coach knows. But
what about Big Mo, man? Are we going to see Big Mo do something tonight?
Detroit Mercy. He didn't have good stats and very limited time at Mercy.
And there were some circumstances behind
yes,
that.
Yes, and BJ, you have defended that a great deal. I'm almost putting Mo on you. Like this was your guy. You were saying, hey, he led the nation in blocks per second.
I never said that. I never said
some stat like that.
I never said that. All I did was explain why he didn't play much. There's some circumstances behind it. He had left the program to go work and get a job to help his family during COVID. He's one of 15 brothers and sisters. And then he had eligibility issues, so he didn't get cleared to play at Detroit Mercy until the season was halfway over. I'm just saying that was part of the reason. I'm not defending his stats, but he obviously hasn't really
3 minutes a game.
Hasn't done much this year. No,
and there's minutes to be had at the 5 because Lucas Milner, BJ, he's playing 17 minutes a night. He's dropping 3 points and grabbing 4 rebounds.
The 5 spot, that's why Najee Smith is starting and playing so much. They're not getting anything from the 5 spot right now. They're not. So, that's something that has to obviously get better, and we'll see. I do need to say, and we'll see if they come out here in a second, our guy Matt Bauscher is going to have to be on his best behavior tonight. Vern's here? Vern Harris, who kicked him out of the Wyoming game last year.
He's one of our favorite refs,
is the lead official in tonight's game. So
can you get Vern on camera when he comes out here?
We might have to. I don't know.
Vern's a very recognizable referee if you guys are tuned in.
I saw him doing the PK 85 the other day.
He's a guy you have seen him ref Final Fours, regional championships, big-time games, and he refs here. Seems like 4 or 5 times a year we get Vern on the call.
You might be taller than him, though, I think. He's not the tallest.
Taking shots at me, man.
No, Vern.
I think I'm taller than Vern.
We got a couple minutes. Well, we got to get out of here in a couple minutes. We'll see if he comes out real quick.
Do you have to get out at a certain time?
When there's 15 minutes on the clock.
You have to be out.
That's a Mountain West rule.
Yep.
It's actually 15 minutes till tip-off, but I do 15 minutes on the clock. And I want you to have a chance to mingle, maybe go have a beverage. I don't want to keep you too long here. So you're giving us your time. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
By the way, we do have Chase Baker for BNN After Dark tomorrow, and he is doing it from Barcelona, Spain at 4 a.m. Chase Baker is getting up. He's in Barcelona, Spain. We're going to talk to him and find out why. Remember, he played on those teams, I think, 10, 11, 12.
Okay.
He was on with
tight end.
Yeah, no, he was a D lineman, right?
Chase Baker was a D lineman? Okay.
Yeah, he played for the Cowboys, though. I think he ended up getting drafted or went to the Cowboys as a free agent deal. He played some NFL games, man. NFL.
Am I thinking of Blakely?
I think you are thinking of Blakely.
Tight end?
Yep. That was Chase Blakely.
Sorry, man.
Chase Baker, D lineman. Played for the, I want to say the Cowboys for sure. I forget who else he played for. Vikings, maybe? Vikings.
That's a fun show, man. I love doing that with you.
Coming on at 4 a.m. from Barcelona, Spain.
Gosh, Winston Venable can pull a guest. He's getting dudes waking up at 4 in the morning to be on your podcast. It's a cool deal, man. Heck yeah. You ready for this game tonight?
I am.
Score projection, BJ Rains.
Let's go 85-55.
You said 85-55. BJ's got the Broncos by 30.
55 might be too low. I don't know. 85-60. Let's go.
I'm going to go 77-52.
77-52.
77-52. You're going 85-55.
I think I'm probably a little too high on that.
Not far off.
Do you think Trent Johnson being back is a big deal?
I think it's cool for the old schools. Paul J. Schneider's here. And he's there early. I love it when Paul J shows up. We know that there's going to be a number of ex-players who played in the Bus Connor era. I work with Brett Connor.
Here comes Vern.
Who is
Here comes Vern. Let's see if
Bus's
the crowd
son, and he's here. He works with me again at the radio station, and he played here for his dad, and it's going to be a fun deal. Yep. Let's get Vern on here.
We'll see if we can. He's got to go check his whistle. The lead official has to go over to the table first.
So,
He's got
for people that don't know, what exactly did he do with the Boucher thing last
year?
He
kicked him out. He ejected him. Boucher made a joking reference about him going, basically, I don't know, fixing the game or something.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh, did you graduate from Wyoming or something?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got my bachelor's and my master's there." Kidding.
Vern said that?
So Vern was playing with them. He goes, "Yeah, I got my bachelor and my master's at Wyoming," having fun going back and forth.
That's cool.
And that was a big game at the time. But he said something that Vern didn't like, and he claims he didn't cuss. He didn't say anything bad, and that was it. And Vern gave him the heave-ho, and he got ejected from the game. And he's been back a couple times since, though.
He has. I wonder if the crowd will know. I wonder if he'll go and address Matt Boucher.
I remember the first time back, it was a big game that he came back for, and I remember there was a big deal about it. But
Boucher sits over there with his ex-teammates, and he's kind of, he's the, what?
Here's how big-time Boucher
Jack
is now,
Nicholson of
Here's how
ExtraMile Arena.
Not only does Matt Boucher have 4 seats over here,
yeah,
he now has 4 seats over there on the orange baseline front row.
He
can choose. He can now go back.
Oh, so he owns all those seats.
He got 4 more seats.
I did not realize that, man. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Good for him.
Who's your click to pick tonight before we get out of here?
For what? Player of the game? What?
Yeah. Who do you got?
Tyson Degenhart takes this thing over. I got a 20-10 tonight for T. Deggy. He's the best player on the floor. You'll see that tonight. Boise State led by Degenhart.
Let's go over under 5.5 points for Sada Nganga tonight. 5.5. His
6.
5 is his career high.
BJ, I think you get better odds taking the over, so I would take the over and hope that I hit it. Just kind of like you said. Second half, he can log a lot of minutes and get into some type of rhythm, which, that's hard when you go from playing every single possession for your whole life, and then you come to college and you don't get to play. It's frustrating. These guys aren't used to that. Basketball's funky like that too. You got to get in there. You have to find a rhythm, and you can't do that if you don't play a lot of minutes. So hopefully he gets a lot of minutes tonight.
People are not forgetting about the free throw from last year. We got 3 or 4 comments on here. You got to make up for that at some point.
God, that just follows me. And it wasn't
the real question is if Johnny can make a free throw.
And BJ, it was free throws.
You made one eventually.
I know, it was 1 for 3, but 2 air balls.
Big Wade says, "I don't want to see that again."
Thank you. He wants analysis. He wants predictions. He wants a Bronco victory tonight.
They say Max Rice is going to have a field day tonight.
Yeah, okay.
T. Daggy over under 15 points.
I'm taking the over on that again. I'm going to say Daggy has 15 at halftime. I don't think CSUN has anybody that's going to slow him down, although they do look bigger and more athletic than Boise State. But
there's Vern, by the way, out there at center court.
Yeah, grab him in here.
I don't know if we can get him on the show or not. He's talking to Berto.
He's talking
to Berto at center court.
He tossed Boucher. He's done Final Fours. He's done national championships. It's cool that they get him.
He was doing the PK85 the other day. But
what do you think they're talking about?
Something funny. I don't know.
Berto and Vern, what are they talking about?
About how long it takes to give Matt Boucher the boot, probably.
Did Berto say, "Hey, you ref my game back in the day"?
He might have, man.
Vern might have been doing Big West games in the 90s.
You might have been. Hey, man, Johnny, appreciate your time as always for doing this. John Mallory, listen to him and Mike Prater 3 to 6 weekdays, KTIK 95.3 FM, The Ticket. He does a great job. We appreciate him. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. We'll be back with the post-game show. We'll have Coach Leon Rice. We'll have some players. We'll have highlights. We'll have analysis, all kinds of great stuff on the post-game show. So make sure you come back. Check us out post-game. Lithia Ford of Boise. Thank all of our sponsors. Check out BroncoNationNews.com. And don't forget our giveaway we're doing. Go ahead and subscribe. If you subscribe by Friday, you can win this Bud Light Yeti cooler, by the way. We're giving this away on Friday if you sign up for a new subscription by Friday, or if you renew your existing subscription by Friday, you can win this cooler on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. And the grand prize we're giving away on December 31st is a VIP experience for 2. So make sure you check out Bronco Nation News as well for that. So that'll do it for our pregame show today. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. We'll be back postgame. Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. We'll see you postgame. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.